It's that time again. It's that time where we look at the fancy new identities that have been released in Limbus Company. We have an announcement saying we have an issue where in the mirror dungeon, a skill of an identity causes the game to crash. As an emergency measure, we have temporarily disabled the skill function by forcing it to be sold out. Oh. Yeah. Replacing this skill replacements in mirror dungeons, right. As per UE structure adjustment, we made a unilateral adjustment in code to universally apply the changes, but because the skill replacement UE uses a separate duplicated version, this did not occur. We have figured out how to duplicate that, we're correcting it, we're going to have to fix this on our next scheduled update. We intend to no longer use any duplicates if they share similar formats so they won't slip through universal changes like this. We're in the process of identifying and analysing all issues that occurred after today's update, etc, etc. And Yi-san got bored with me talking about it, so let's have a look at the extraction. So, at Uptie 4, we have Devyat Association Rodion. She gains coin power for every courier trunk she has, or for every rupture on the target. If the target has 15 rupture and 3 count, this skill does not consume count on hit, but it doesn't inflict rupture either. So basically she breaks even, I guess? Yeah, she gains up to 2 coin power, so that becomes a 15 power skill. The coins are nice. The problem is that the rupture infliction is not. I actually had a look at this earlier. If she can get her first hit off, then she gains 1 or 2 courier trunks. Turn start, gain 3 stacks. Stack does not expire on retreat. At 10 stacks, rain minimum and maximum values by 1. So she's currently at 4 to 7. That would be actually kind of nice numbers. 5 to 8. That's 7 association Utus numbers. That's pretty fast. Courier Trunk Gadget Reveal. Deal 2% more damage for every Courier Trunk, plus 1 coin power for every 10 Courier Trunk or 6 rupture on the target to a maximum of 2. So that becomes that becomes a 22 skill 2. Not bad. If the unit has less than 15 courier trunks, gain 2 additional courier trunks. Gain haste next turn on a heads hit, or 2 haste at 15 plus. And at defense level down for every 5 trunk on self or 5 rupture on the target to a maximum of 6. 6 defense level down is cool. I trust you, Polo. 1 more coin power for every trunk on self or 6 rupture on target. So what, that would be 23, so it's actually not that far off from her 22 of her skill 2. If the target has 15 plus rupture and 3 rupture count, this skill does not inflict rupture count with its on hit effects. Instead, reuse its last coin. Does not consume rupture count on hit. So this is weird. If the target has 15 rupture and 3 rupture count, which is actually really hard to do outside of a mirror dungeon, then she doesn't deplete rupture count, but this one instead reuses her last coin. On hit, actually stop, let's look at this. 2. Inflict 3 rupture count once per turn, plus 1 for every rupture for every 10 courier trunk on the target. So she's definitely going to get to that. If the rupture count is too low when she gets to that second hit, then it's definitely going to have it on here. I feel like this is specifically to cancel out certain affinities that would just let her reuse this infinitely, but if she has 15 courier trunks, she deals 25% more damage. If she does kill or stagger the target, then she gains haste. I mean, is haste all that important for her? Then the defense skill. 9 plus 7 is pretty cool for a counter. If she's at 15 plus courier trunk, then activate just a strategic time off instead. If this skill is to be activated, gain the courier trunk's worth of HP as shield, up to 25%. So if you somehow get her to 14 courier trunk and then activate this barrier, then it's going to be capped at 25%. Oh well. Actually, wait. It's once per turn. You have to be at 14 and it's an exact percent. Why put in the maximum of 25%? Huh. On use, gain 2 courier trunks and an additional courier trunk if she's at less than 15. If this skill is to be activated, gain courier trunk of this unit's max HP as shield. Kind of feels pointless to say that, and of course we have strategic R&R. Recover from stagger and retreat from the encounter unless it's a forced stagger. In chain battles, give this unit slots to a substituted unit. Move to the rearmost place in the backup unit's deployment order. Escape from the entire encounter entirely if there are no backup units. If there aren't backup units to swap places with. Next turn. Escape if there are no backup units to swap with. When returning to battle, return in the order they retreat in. When returning to battle, return with the same amount of HP and SP this unit had when retreating. Eliminate all effects on self for a select few. If this unit had less than 0 SP, reset to 0 SP. Okay, that's handy. But I don't know how she's supposed to work with standard encounters, and while they have said they want to make chain battles the default, that doesn't change that a lot of battles at the moment aren't chain battles. Okay. When, after trading with strategic R&R, if this unit rejoins the battle, halve courier trunk value, but only once per encounter. At 6 plus speed, or if this unit has haste, gain shield. That would be on top of her counter, I guess. Upon retreat, apply clash power up to 2 allies next turn. Prioritize the substitutes, then deployment order. Last for 1 additional turn for every courier trunk on self. 2 more turns maximum. So if she does hit that 30 courier trunk value, then she's going to have to leave because, yeah. At 20 stacks she gains clash power up and slash damage up, but at 30 stacks, for any skill she uses, she takes divided by 3% HP damage and divided by 3 SP damage. She's gonna burn out very quickly. On turn end, take stack divided by 2% HP damage and stack divided by 2 SP damage. So at bare minimum, that's 30, so 10% HP and... Wait, no, am I counting this right? 10% HP, 10 SP damage, and then 15. So she loses 25% of her HP and 25 SP. You desperately need to kick her out of the party when you reach that point. You cannot keep up. PS, Blunt Fatal. Slightly higher defense level than average. Pretty decent offense level, on her skill 3 at least. But there's one other thing we can check out. Bygone Days Ishmael. So it takes 2 Lust, 1 Sloth and 3 Gloom. 17 plus 9. Yeah, that's pretty cool. At 4 plus highest resonance, gain attack weight. If said resonance was Gloom resonance, gain it plus 1 attack weight. So at best it's hitting 3 people. After attack, heal 2 allies with the lowest HP by 10 plus sum of sinking potency and count on the main target divided by 3%. Hang on, is it? This is one of those wonky calculation things. Do you divide the sum of sinking potency and count by the 3? Or are you also dividing it plus 10? Well, it's to a maximum of 20% anyway, so it's not that big. If the highest resonance was 4 Gloom Resonance, heal 10% more. On hit, 3 Sinking Count, 2 Curse, Gloom Resonance, inflict Gloom Fragility, and then inflict the Uninvited. Upon death, the last attacker heals 3 SP, then a random ally without this effect gains 2 stacks. Take 0.5% more damage for every sinking on self, to a maximum of 10%. Count sinking on each part separately, and reduce by 1 at turn end. Corrosion. Prioritize targets with the most sinking. Automatically has 3 attack weight. Lose HP by 10% of max HP. Cannot get staggered due to this effect. But can you get killed? That's the question. After attack, heal 3 other allies with the lowest HP percent by maximum of 15%. At 4 highest resonance, heal an additional ally. If it's a Gloom Resonance, then another 5% on top of that. Inflict Singing Count, Curse. For every Gloom Resonance, inflict Gloom Fragility, inflict Uninvited, and Echoes of the Mana next turn. This is something that I wasn't expecting to see come back after this season. And I don't think this is a seasonal ID. Passives. If the target has Uninvited or Panic type changing effects, gain Clash Power. On hit against the target, heal 1 ally with least SP for 5 SP. Sadly, it's once per turn, so it's not going to help out with her big wing beat ego. Someday. Anyway, I have the ego shards on hand, so let's burn some.
쉴만큼 쉬었으니까 다시 가볼까? 다들 옷 단단히 여미고.
주인께서 명하셨습니다. 당신 청소하라고.
Alright, so I think first of all, we max out Rodion for the story, and then we see what we can throw at Ishmael's ego. So then at the moment, let's see. Gain 1 courier trunk, gain 1 courier trunk. So she actually, she can still escape from the encounter. I think this is probably for... It's probably still useful in mirror dungeons because you need to hang on to her HP for as long as possible. So if she's at risk of going into her 30+ time zone, then you kick her out of the party rather than burn off her HP and SP. But yeah, 3 plus 3. It does have the we don't consume rupture count effect though. At 10 courier trunk, or yeah. This does get coin power though. Okay, so if we uptie it, she goes from 3 to 5 to 3 to 6. And she gains coin power on her skill 1, a maximum of 2 coin power on her skill 2, and her ability to GTR and her bonuses for being at high speed, the courier trunk of HP stuff, and when retreating, gain clash power to allies. And yeah, she can actually reach 3 to 6 after this. Okay, if you uptie her again, she goes to 4 to 7. I trust you, Polu. If target has... yeah, we know what that does. Increase the coin power of her skill 1. Increase the base power of her skill 2. To one ally with the fastest speed. Clash power plus 1 to skills that apply Rapture count. Or potency. Bonus to hash power, but not the actual skill.
딜리버리 캐리어 작동 1단계. 자, 3단계까지 가기 전에 끝낸다.
Oh yeah, I had a look at that cutscene off screen. So I've been seeing that a lot during my Rare Dungeon grinds. You really are one weirdly dedicated gal, huh? I hardly expected you to follow me all the way out here when it's so cold out. Consider it an extension of my duties as a professional. This interviewer shows up a lot. Also, I think that's Yi Sang over in the corner there. Yi Sang Devyat ID when. Maybe we'll meet her at some point. The interviewer replies, sniffling and shuddering, one hand holding tightly onto her notepad. They're in one of the back streets of the northern part of the city, a place of almost unending blizzard. Not even the poorest of the poor would dare choose this place to fall asleep. The child, her colleagues, and the interviewer were trudging through the snow in the cutting wind. I guess for how popular Devyat is, people don't really know how we run things here. Yeah, most people only know you guys as the fixers who deliver expensive or rare items to any place in the world. Yeah, save for deliveries are usually handled by more familiar transportation companies or fixer offices. So it's got to be a pretty dangerous job, huh? Why do you find work in this association if there are other options? 'Cause the pay is good? She wasn't lying about the pay being good, of course. But she also intentionally omitted the fact that the fixers who are in heavy debt end up working for the Devyat Association. She didn't want to go into detail about her wilder past here, of course. Oh, the wind is subsiding. Guys, let's take a quick break here and get something to eat. The child shouts at her colleagues, who all sigh in an exasperated unison before reaching out to open their delivery trunks. Oh, so they're the famous courier trunk, huh? Yeah, well, it's a fancy name for what's just a glorified delivery trunk. It's convenient when you're carrying a lot of stuff. Hup! Unauthorized lock released out of delivery coordinates detected. Shush! Be quiet. Did that bag just... Oh, it's AI activated, huh? While artificial intelligence with a similar sense of self as humans has been outlawed since a long time ago, simple minor assistant level artificial intelligence was still used quite often in the city. An example of one such artificial intelligence was the trunk the child was lightly tapping on. This girl's called Polodnitsa. I bet people don't know about these things. Oh, yeah, I heard some witnesses' reports of Devyat fixers talking to their trunks. So they're called Polodnitsa. Got it. We all thought you guys had all gone, insane. Making these grueling treks day after day has to get to you eventually, right? Had no idea that's what people think of us. She sighed deeply, her white breath scattering into the air, and pulled something from the trunk. It was smaller than a bean at first, but it grew larger as it emerged from the bag. It soon grew to the size of a palm-sized energy bar. I knew it. So these trunks weren't just any old containers. Yeah, we're an association, You can stuff an item that's 5 times the size of this trunk into this thing. Besides, even when transporting items that are hundreds of kilos, once we manage to stick them in here, we can hardly feel their weight. The functionalities of this bag can bend space itself, but the item's mass is barely felt. I see! Those are some complicated concepts, huh? I remember the article about Dicey South being leaning a bit less on the technical side of things. I studied science and engineering in the north. I guess that bleeds into my articles sometimes. Even our editor reprimands me for losing track of what I'm writing. Want an energy bar or something? Warning, storage of unauthorized items is not recommended. That, Polodnitsa doesn't seem to like that idea. Yeah, don't worry about it. The association usually lets these things slide, especially if mission takes us straight through harsh environments like this. After all, the only thing that matters is that we make the delivery on time. The interviewer easily caught on the fact that the child's voice briefly turned dark. What happens if you don't make it in time? You keep salting my wound, you know that? That's when an aggressive sound of something rushing toward them pierced through the ambient noise. Hostile forces detected. Activating Apollo Dunetza high-power delivery mode maneuvers. Speak of the devil, huh? I guess thieves are coming out of the woodwork now that the blizzard's somewhat subsided. The child stuffed the remaining half of the energy bar into her mouth, jumped up, and swung the giant delivery trunk over her shoulder. Polu, Rupture Energy Unlock. Authorized. Verify that there are no items at risk near the exhaust. Only stuff that's risky for me if kept alive. Just as she finished her sentence, a massive blade exploded out from one end of her trunk, which she swung against her enemies without hesitation. Oh. Hey you sure it's safe for you out here? Aren't you scared? Yeah, this is my expertise. I've seen stuff like this pretty often. Hard life, huh? It also helped that my interview subjects were all very strong, which meant that I had nothing to worry about. I'm sure it won't be any different today. That wasn't true, but the interviewer knew the right things to say to get the answers she wanted. Is it saying that the interviewer is a lot stronger than she seems, or is it saying that fixers aren't going to watch out for her just because she happens to be in the area? Because I feel like it's the latter, but the former could make for an interesting character. Look at you trying to butter me up. Fine, I'll let you in on some more info. The child does not stop swinging her trunk around even as she explains the functionalities of the courier trunk. Every time we're about to be late for a delivery, this talking trunk enhances our strength because being late for a delivery is dangerous. So I'm trying to get my delivery done ASAP. I see. So why is it dangerous? Well, you don't want to get on your boss's bad side, right? Same deal. I guess so. The child lied. The less and less time they have for the delivery, the greater the amount of energy expelled by the trunk. The energy intensifies and intensifies until it starts harming its user, and eventually leaving nothing but the trunk in their place. What, you thought there was something special to it? Come on, aren't we all motivated by our aversion to getting reprimanded by our bosses? But she didn't want to have to share that fact, because doing so would also show her anxiety about how many users this Polydunitsa had in the past. Or she might have been joining the ever-growing list of its former users. And the interviewer would definitely catch on to that anxiety and write it in her report. She would prefer to avoid that if possible. I don't think I have enough thread left for the Ishmael ego though. Oh wait, we can at least get her passive unlocked. If the target has the uninvited, Clash Power +1. On hit against the target, heal for 5 SP. Okay, what does it say at the moment? So this adds the If Gloom Resonance extra attack weight. This gives us a +10, while at the moment it's +5. And it gives us Gloom Fragility, which wasn't there before. +10, 15%, 2 Curse, so it actually sticks around. Inflict the Uninvited, inflict Echoes of the Mana. Oh. It doesn't have Echoes of the Mana by default. But yeah, I can imagine that'll be nice for Ishmael's Edgar family butler ID. Since that's also throwing down a lot of sinking and a lot of slash fragility. And hey, it also gives her the uninvited. That's nice. But yeah, Don't know how well the Rupture Rodion is going to work. She might at least as well make it for a backup passive. So yeah. Until next time guys, take care. I'll see you all around.
금일의 관리는 지금이 마지막일.
오, 뭐야? 일거리라도 물어온 거야? 배달 일이 재밌어서 하는 건 아니지. 뭐 처음엔 로망도 있고 그러긴 했지만. 아, 그래도 돌아다니면서 바뀌는 풍경을 보는 건 아직도 즐겁긴 해.